Hello students, this is our second session in the chapter Physical World. As you know that in my previous class, I started this chapter with an introduction and there I discussed about what is the science and what is the way to study the science and what are the methodologies we can use while studying any different natural phenomenon associated in this nature and how to understand those phenomenon and how a theory will develops and how that theory further experimentally is required for a proof and how the theory and practical part of the phenomenon are important. So as you know that in case of scientific method, I told you that theory is not sufficient one, either experimental observation is not sufficient one to explain any natural phenomena. We have to take along with the theory, along with the practical verification. So then only that theory will be successful theory. It means for the development of science, the theory and practical or observation part is important. So these two are the aspects, they are very essential for the development of science. So no theory is there without experimental proof. Suppose if it exists without experimental proof, such theories are said to be falsified theories. And we got to know about the meaning of word physics, and it is nothing but the Greek word physis. From that word, the word physics has been derived. So from the Greek word physis, it means nature. So this is the meaning of the word physics. So, and also I told you about the scope and excitement of physics. So once if you look at the various phenomenon explained by the physics, so it explains macroscopic phenomenon and even it explains about microscopic phenomenon. What macroscopic phenomenons? So from which branch of physics we can say that these phenomenons are macroscopic? Generally, if you take the mechanics, study of heat and thermodynamics, if you take the study of optics, so this is all nothing but the water. And if you take the study of this planetary motion, so many examples I can able to give you. So if you take all these phenomena are explained on the basis of macroscopic phenomenon, so physics will explain all the macroscopic phenomenon as well as even if you come to the present, so we are having the physics at present which is developing, that is modern physics, or that is nothing but the what atomic physics. And even physics can also give the answer for structure of atom, size of nucleus and all the nuclear phenomenons. So that is the reason physics is so exciting that it can explain both macroscopic as well as microscopic phenomenons that is happening in our nature. So in this way, physics is so exciting for the what students and even for the researchers, even for the scientist, even for the physicist. So that is the reason why it is so exciting. Means, see here, it explains the various phenomenons even from the large scale to the small scales. So that is the reason that, so to carry out the experiments, to carry out the experiments for everyone, it is quite interesting to know the facts of this nature, to unlock the secrets of this nature. So in this way, in the previous class I explained some simple way of explanation. So you can also go through the your NCERT textbook. So there also you have still more information regarding this physical world. And for today's class, present class, what I am going to discuss means, for the present class I would like to discuss the continuation part of this chapter, that is nothing but the what physics, technology and society. So what is the physics? You know already, it is the study of basic laws of nature and their applications or their manifestation in different natural phenomena is called as physics. And you know there are several branches of physics: mechanics, heat and thermodynamics, optics, electrodynamics, electricity and magnetism, and even you have a modern physics. Yes or no? So like that several branches are there. And this, in this way I defined the term physics and I told you some various branches of physics. And for the present class, so this, if this is the range of physics, and physics explains all the microscopic and macroscopic phenomena, so is it this concept of physics or studying the physics has got any important development in the technology, or whether physics can contribute for the technology? Yes, sure. Whatever the today's online class you are viewing through the mobile phone or through the laptop, this is all because of developments dealt or discoveries dealt in the physics. So because of discoveries of some concepts by our physicist, so with the help of physics we can able to weave this video class or online class, telephones, communication and wireless communication. This is all nothing but because of the some important major milestones in the development of physics. So with this we shall discuss physics, technology and society. So what is our chapter is? So we are discussing chapter 1, that is physical world. In this chapter we discussed some introduction part and meaning of science, meaning of physics, scope and excitement of physics. So now we are going to study physics, the next continuation to my previous class, physics, technology, society. Under this topic, see, I told you one simple example that today whatever online class is going on or this recorded class you are viewing through the mobile phone, this mobile phone is nothing but the what? It is a wireless communicating device. So this is the one of the application came from physics only, by the invention of electromagnetic waves, by the invention of radio waves. Is it right or no? So if you want to study this topic, physics, technology and society, physics had contributed lot to the what? Technology development. So today whatever the technical developments are happening in your society or in your surrounding, that is all because of the contribution from the concepts and theories developed in the physics. And even as a physics develops, technology improves, and thereby the civilization of the human beings are also changes, and thereby the society is going to change with its civilization. So by keeping this aspect in mind, I would like to give some examples to clarify this topic. For example, we can see that the importance of physics in several phenomena or in several, that is discoveries. The one example I would like to give you, the one of the branch of physics known as the thermodynamics. One of the branch of physics known as thermodynamics. So what is this branch of physics deals with? Means it is deals with the study of conversion of heat energy into some useful mechanical energy. This branch of physics deals with the water, the study of heat into a mechanical energy. So that we call as thermodynamics. Thermo means heat, dynamics means flow of heat. Due to the flow of heat, there will be a conversion of heat energy into mechanical energy. Remember, when our ancestors started studying this thermodynamics, ancestor means our physicists. So when they started studying about thermodynamics, they invented heat engines. They invented the heat engines. And the development of this heat engine has got so much industrial revolution in the Europe country. The development of this physics, as indirectly it is developing technology. One best example I would like to give at this condition is the industrial revolution of the Europe was because of the water development or the study of this thermodynamic principles and applying those thermodynamic principles in the working of heat engine. So this is the one example that has got a great impact on the civilization of European peoples when heat engine was discovered. And even not only this one, today what we are enjoying, this wireless communication, mobile phone communication, internet, world wide web. So this is all possible because of the electricity and magnetism, because of laws of electricity and magnetism. So due to the development or due to the invention of electricity and magnetism, some basic laws of electricity and magnetisms are used. Magnetisms are used. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಸಮ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಲಾಸ್, ಇದರ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಕಾಂತೀಯ ಮತ್ತು ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಕಾಂತೀಯ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾಂತೀಯ ಶಕ್ತಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಈ ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಕಾಂತೀಯ ವಿಕಿರಣಗಳ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ physics has got so much importance for the civilization of a society. It has great impact on the society. So ಇನ್ನೂ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಒನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಐರನ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್, that is also that is dealt with concepts of physics, and whatever the induction coil you are using, that is also because of physics. And even the next, if I say the further aspect here, one I can say the study of phenomenon of photoelectric effect. Study of phenomena of photoelectric effect has got an important advantage for working of solar cells. So we know that we are trapping the sunlight and we are converting that into a electrical energy. So in alternate sources of energy, there are several applications we can come across, and they are all useful to the mankind, and this is all usefulness developments are because of physics. Even physics had contributed lot to the what alternate sources of energy. If you take geothermal energy, you take wind energy, if you take that the wind energy, so tidal energy, if you take nuclear energy, solar energy. So this is all nothing but the what alternate sources of energies, and all these alternate sources of energies we are using today. So because of physics. So in this way, physics had contributed lot to the technology. As a physics develops, concepts of physics develops, the technology of that particular country also increases, and it will also develops. Thereby the society, the changes in the society also increases. The way of lifestyle or the way of using technology, it will also changes. If you go to the olden days, all our ancestors are used to radios, but today we are enjoying live broadcasting. This live broadcasting is because of the what? Our geostationary satellites. So we have known the fact that moon is revolving around the earth, our earth is revolving around the sun. So this is the natural fact. With respect to this natural fact, our scientists, they have thought that, so suppose if we launch any technical instrument and that has to surround around the earth, is it possible to capture the images of the earth or not? So like that they thought, and their thoughts they made as experiments, they made it as theory, and they finally succeeded. Even today live broadcasting and technology and live broadcasting of news or live broadcasting of any program is possible because of the what this satellite communications. So like this I can say so many examples. Not one class is sufficient to explain all the contributions or contributions of physics to the technology. So in simple way I told you, just you can go through the textbook for further information. So after this concept, next we have to discuss the basic forces in nature, or some next concept is fundamental forces. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್, ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಬಲಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್, Firstly, the definition of force was given by the person Newton, and according to Newton, force is nothing but the what? It is an external agency which, when applied on a body, it changes the state of that body. Either if it is a rest, it changes its state from rest into motion, or else if body is in state of uniform motion, it disturbs its uniform motion. So thereby, that agency which change state of rest or state of motion of a body is nothing but force. The definition of force exactly was given by the person Newton, and according to Newton, force is nothing but the what? An external agency. When it is acts on a body, when it acts on a body, it changes state of rest or state of motion of a body. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಲದ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಯ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ನ್ಯೂಟನ್. ಬಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಅದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ. ಆ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಬಾಡಿಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಬಾಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಬಾಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದರ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ, Newton also studied about some fundamental forces in the nature, and he listed those forces as fundamental forces, and they occur in the nature itself, and there are four fundamental forces. How many fundamental forces are there? There are four fundamental forces, namely the first one is gravitational force. Gravitational force. The second one is electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force. The third one is strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force. Fourth one is weak nuclear force. Weak nuclear force. What is force? Bala ಎಂದರೇನು? Force is nothing but the external agency. When it acts on a body, it changes state of rest or state of motion of the body. That agency, that external factor is called as force. And generally in this nature, we have four fundamental forces, namely gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. So, we have four forces. ನಾಲ್ಕು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದಾವೆ. ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಗುರುತ್ವಾಕರ್ಷಣೆಯ ಬಲ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಕಾಂತೀಯ ಬಲ. ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಶಕ್ತಿಯುತವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ನ ಬಲ. ವೀಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಅಥವಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ನ ಬಲ. ಸೊ ಜನರಲಿ gravitational force, where we can observe this force? So today we all are stick to the ground because of gravitational force. Suppose if you take any object, if you throw it up, it get attracted towards the earth because of gravitational force. See, what is gravitational force? It is a force of attraction between the two bodies by virtue of their masses. So by virtue of their masses, such force is nothing but the what? Gravitational force. Remember, this force has got its range infinite. It acts up to the what? Infinity. So its range is infinity. Next, this force does not depends upon the medium. It is independent of medium. Next, gravitational force is nothing but the what? A non-contact force. It is a non-contact force. So gravitational force examples, if I take, all the objects in this universe are associated with gravitational force. So what is the range of this gravitational force? Range of the gravitational force is infinity. Fundamental force, say if I take range, if I take strength, we can study now which force is strongest in this universe among the four fundamental force. In order to study this, we require to know some mathematical data, dealt with their range, dealt with their strength. So range, strength. See, gravitational force range is infinity. ರೇಂಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಬಲ ವ್ಯಾಪಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ up to what distance this force can act. So even it can also encounter up to the distance of infinity. Range is infinity. And what is the strength of this? 10 raised to minus 39. Minus 39. 10 power minus 39. Next, electromagnetic force. What is this electromagnetic force? Remember, this force is due to the charged particles. This force is due to the charged particles. Charge ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೊ ಆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆದಾಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್, it experience a force, and that force is given by Coulomb's law. You are going to study this in second PUC in the first chapter. If charge is at rest, it experiences the force, and that force we call as Coulomb force. Suppose if the same charge is set into the motion along with the electric force, along with the electric field, it experiences the magnetic force. And this both combined electric and magnetic force is nothing but the what? Electromagnetic force. This we are going to observe in case of accelerated charge particle. ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಕಾಂತೀಯ ಬಲವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಟೇಕ್ ರೇಂಜ್, ಈವನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದಿ ವಾಟ್? ಇನ್ಫನೈಟ್ ರೇಂಜ್. ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ಫನೈಟ್ ರೇಂಜ್ ವರೆಗೆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಮಚ್? ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ 10 to the power of minus 2. It has got a strength of 10 to the power of minus 2. And what is the range? Range is infinity. See, strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force. ಬಲವಾದ ಪರಮಾಣು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಲವಾದ ಪರಮಾಣು ಶಕ್ತಿ. Strong nuclear force. So what is the strong nuclear force? And this force is existed inside the nucleus between the proton and the neutron. And such force is nothing but the what? A strong nuclear force. ಈ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಾನ್ಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಬಲ, ಅವೆರಡರ ನಡುವೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಬಲವನ್ನ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್. That is the strong nuclear force. And its range is not like gravitational force or electromagnetic force. Its range is nothing but the what? It is of the order of 10 raised to minus 15 meter. Its range is 10 raised to minus 15 meter. Within this dimension or within this much of length, 10 raised to minus 15 meter, in that particular range we can observe the strong nuclear force. It's not infinite range. ಇದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಬಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ಸಿನ ಗಾತ್ರ ಅಥವಾ ಅದರದ್ದು ಸೈಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10 power minus 15 ಇದೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ 1 ಇದೆ. ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 1 ಇದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇರೆ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಅವುಗಳ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 10 power minus 39 ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ 10 power minus 2 ಇದೆ. ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ರೇಂಜ್ 10 power minus 15, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 1 ಇದೆ. whose strength is 1. Weak nuclear force. Where we find this last one is weak nuclear force. Weak nuclear force we are going to observe in case of beta decay. In case of beta decay. So what is this beta decay? This beta decay is nothing but the what? The ejection of electrons from the atoms during the nuclear processes. Such phenomena we call as beta decay. Beta decay ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಆಟಮ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಉತ್ಸರ್ಜನೆಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಹೊರಸೂಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಫೆನಾಮಿನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಒಂದು ಬೀಟಾ ಡಿಕೆ ಫೆನಾಮಿನ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಬೀಟಾ ಡಿಕೆ ಯಾಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಹಳ ವೀಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತವೆ. ಯಾರ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ? ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಸಚ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಆಸ್ weak nuclear force. Weak nuclear force is there between the electron and the nucleus, and it is the weakest force compared to that of the strong nuclear force. So therefore here weak nuclear force has got a range 10 power minus 16, and whose strength is, the strength of this one is nothing but the what, 10 to the power of minus 13. Strength of this is 10 to the power of minus 13. So this is nothing but the what, the concept of fundamental forces and the definition of the force. In your examination, the concept of fundamental forces will be asked for 2 marks. How they are going to ask? What is the possibility of question? Mention the strongest and weakest force in the nature. Which is the strongest one? Once if you look at their strength and range, as particularly strength, we can able to predict that which is the strongest and which is the weakest one. Look at here, strength of gravitational force is 10 power minus 39. 10 power minus 39 means 1 by 10 to the power of 39. 1 by 10 to the power of 39 can be written as 10 to the power of minus 39. So therefore 1 by 10 to the power of 39. So what is the value you are getting for strength? 0.0000 like this. So therefore next you compare the electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force strength is 10 power minus 2. So 10 power minus 2 means it is nothing but what? 1 divided by 100. 1 divided by 100, that's 0.01. And if you take the strong nuclear force, strength is 1. This is also less than 1. This is also less than 1. This is equal to 1. What about 10 power minus 39? Obviously less than 1. So among this, now tell me which is the strongest one? Definitely strong nuclear force is nothing but the what? The strongest fundamental force in the nature. So ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಬಲವಾದ ಒಂದು ಬಲ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಶಕ್ತಿಯುತವಾದಂತಹ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ so I am going to list fundamental forces in decreasing order of their strength. In a decreasing order of their strength, the list of fundamental forces, that is fundamental forces in a decreasing order of their strength. Order of their strength. Decreasing order of their strength are number 1, strong nuclear force, which is the first one you are getting. Strong nuclear force you are getting. So I am going to write here only. So first one is strong nuclear force in the decreasing order of their strength. In the decreasing order of their strength, first one will be strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force. Second one is electromagnetic force. Weak nuclear force barala. Yak barala? So other the strength 10 power minus 39, but electromagnetic in the 10 power minus 2. So minus 2 minus 13, which one is greater? Minus 2, 10 power minus 2. So therefore electromagnetic force. And the third one is weak nuclear force. Weak nuclear force. Fourth one, gravitational force. gravitational force. So gravitational force. See, strong nuclear force has got infinite range. Range is infinity. Strength is 1. Electromagnetic force. Range is infinity. Strength is 10 power minus 2. Weak nuclear force. Range is 10 power minus 16. Range is 10 power minus 16. 10 power minus 16. And strength of this weak nuclear force is 10 raised to minus 13. And gravitational force range is infinity. Gravitational force range is infinity. Strong nuclear force range is not infinity here. Range is 10 power minus 15. So infinity and the strength is 10 power minus 39. Now look at the strength. This is less than 1, less than 1, less than 1. So which is greatly smaller than 1? 10 power minus 39. So therefore, this is the weakest force. And next, compared to the gravitational force, which is the strongest one? Weak nuclear, electromagnetic and strong nuclear force. Compared to weak nuclear force, the strongest one is electromagnetic and strong nuclear force. Compared to electromagnetic force, the strong nuclear force is nothing but the strongest fundamental force. In general, which is the strongest force in nature? That is strong nuclear force. Which is the weakest force in the nature? That is gravitational force. What is the example for strong nuclear force? The force which is existed between the proton and neutron inside the nucleus. What is the example for electromagnetic force? Example for electromagnetic force is nothing but the what? The charged particle, accelerated charged particle in a conductor. Next, what is the example for weak nuclear force? Beta decay. What is the example for gravitational force? The objects in this entire universe are under the action of gravitational force. ಈ ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಯಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಒಂದು ಗುರುತ್ವಾಕರ್ಷಣೆಯ ಬಲಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ. That is the example. So after this, next concept we have approaches. How many number of approaches are there for studying this physics? Approaches in studying the physics. So that concept I am going to explain in my next lecture. Okay, thank you.